becoming someone who we inspire to be. So this is going to be probably a 4-part series. Now, to start it off, creating a vision within our heads, it all begins of understanding one thing, is that if we're being distracted in this moment by our minds, we're often taking attributes of thoughts such as comparison, separation, judgment, anger, frustration, jealousy, hatred, toxicity in all these forms, doubt, fear, worry, stress. Now, if we're feeling these existences, which these existences are vibrational frequencies which are entering our mind at their own will without our minds taking you could say knowledge of this, because if our minds don't choose to say, hang on a second, you're not invited into our perception, well, then they'll just come into our perception unwillingly, these vibrational frequencies, and ultimately affect us. You could say infect us, because what's happening is when these frequencies are entering our existence, they're ultimately taking form within thought, and as long as we perceive that thought and think that thought is us, what's happened is we've just accepted potentially something that isn't true in our nature or isn't true within our existence. It's been manipulated for us to perceive this as it's our thought. Now, this is how it's done, is that we must comprehend that the essence of our existence is clean. It's like an expression of happiness, or an expression of positivity, or an expression of joy, or an expression of love. Now, this existence or this expression you could just look at it from like a swimming pool. The swimming pool is pure, it's clean, it's just in harmony within its existence of frequency. Now, what happens is that from a very young age, we're actually starting, especially if we're not brought up into like a loving environment from the start, it can happen at a very young age. We can start to distort or start to dirty this swimming pool. And this is life's, you could say curse, but we must comprehend that this existence is only positive in nature to our true self. So as long as we choose positivity, we are in essence connecting to our true self, which ultimately protects us. Now, let's break this down a little bit, because what's happening for most of us is that our swimming pool is getting dirty and we don't know how to clean it. Now, this is our problem, is because in life, if we get to and swimming pool is actually quite a great analogy, because we're actually like 70 or something incredible % water. So the water inside of us is actually starting, not maybe metaphorically, but it's actually starting to get toxic. And we must look at this as our frequency field, or our aura, which our energetical existence is. It's an aura, it's a frequency, is starting to get toxic. And toxic, it's not necessarily toxic, but how it works is it starts to resonate at a lower vibration of existence. It starts to get, our frequency starts to get dense, it starts to get tight, it starts to get slow, and that's where all the fire starts to accumulate, all the fear, all the stress, all the worry, and we'll wrap this up very well on why this is occurring, and more so how this is occurring. But we start to get in this perceptual bubble where restriction starts to become our dictatorship. We only feel what we can do. We look at other people and then judge them because we feel that they're doing something that we could do, but we don't necessarily know how to resonate or create that existence. wrap this to part 2.